Good morning. This is Wayne. It is Monday, July, 24th, it's Friday. I believe it's the 27th, 2026. And I'm back to the walk. Haven't done one in a few days. And we've had episodes of rain and clouds and things. It's a nice morning this morning so far. Did have a thunderstorm overnight. I believe 4 o'clock. I remember hearing the thunder. It looked like we got a little bit of rain overnight. Once again, forecasting it during the day, and we get it at some odd hour. So I don't trust the forecast nonsense. All right. So again, today it'll be, the typical marginal risk nonsense that SPC puts out. So I won't put much hope into any of that. And tomorrow they'll play up severe weather, slight risk this, world ending that. So don't know if that'll actually materialize. Probably not. Typical. Just get tired of it. I mean, they busted the forecast on Saturday. It was mostly cloudy all day. It rained for hours in the morning. So didn't have that right from the day before or during the day when it happened. So I don't think we've been above 85 degrees since the middle of last week. I don't think so. Ever since it started turning cooler Thursday, Friday, we haven't gotten above 85. So, and there was a couple days that the dew points were nice. It wasn't bad yesterday, and it doesn't feel too bad today. So it'll come back, and then looks like the end of the week does dry out a little bit. So into the weekend. But other than that, the Phillies finally won a game after losing, I believe, 4 in a row. I know they lost all 3 series at home, which doesn't help them. Again, they're displaying the typical 10 runs one game, score 1 run in the next 2 or 3. Can't hit the broadside of a barn, and their pitching staff isn't doing very well either. So, although Sanchez looked good last night, I think he's 13-4 now. And now they head to Miami and Baltimore. Miami an inter-division matchup, so that might be interesting. They're not a bad team from what I saw. It could be a trap for Phillies, and the Orioles blew the game yesterday. Well, they didn't blow it. They were trailing and then came back and lost it in the 10th. But they lost 2 of 3 from the Braves. And I don't know who they play now. I know they play the Phillies next weekend. So, but I don't know who they play before that. Other than that, I don't know if there was really much else in the sports world. And here comes my neighbor. Get out of the way. Hank doesn't know what he's doing as usual. We'll wait. Never fails, and I expect my son to come down through here at any minute, since it's close to 10:30 and he has to go to work. It's like somebody's mowing up here. I did manage to get this trimmed out here yesterday. I was going to mow the grass. It was a little wet, and I don't think I'll get to it today either. It rained overnight, but I might try it later on. How you doing? That's all Street. These guys moved in, I don't know, sometime in the late winter, early spring, I guess. And they keep the place very nice. I mean, the previous owners mowed the grass half-assly and, didn't keep up with it, but it looks nice. So they're keeping it up nice, which is nice to see. But I did get it trimmed. All it needs is mowed, and whether I'm motivated enough today or not, I don't know. I have something I have to fix in the garage, given the dog's nonsense overnight. So that may take a few minutes to fix up. But and I think the grandchildren are here again later today, tonight, tomorrow, into Wednesday. After they were here last evening, and they were here for, I think, the early part of the weekend, maybe Saturday, Friday. I can't remember. I lose track of time and days anymore. They all blend together. But I don't have any errands to run today or tomorrow, I don't think. So it might be Wednesday, and I have to run and get something. So anyway, they'll get their walk here. I did manage to play at college football 25 games. I played Penn State against USC in my offensive coordinator using the 2025 season. And I did beat them to 31-28 in the fourth quarter. I was up 21-3 at one point. And then the computer, does its thing. So I had to fight back and win it in the fourth quarter. So it's a challenge. It was fun. I like playing it that way. I wish I would have learned it. Wish I would have played it that way a while ago. Will you go? Go. I don't know what he's waiting for. Usually he's out there. So Naylor wants to move and Hank stops. So anyway, I enjoy playing it that way. So it's kind of fun. And I did finish my World Series up for the 1972 season, and Detroit won it in 7 games on fast inning baseball. I love that game. It's very quick. You can play playoffs in no time. So it's a very fast game. And it still has the flavor of the game, even though it's a fast-playing game. So, and I am trying to take the, I've said that I was sitting down and playing a simple dice baseball game with my grandson. I think it was last week or the week before. Well, I'm trying to take that game and with the help of AI and a couple other baseball games, dice games, trying to make a simple baseball game, but it has a little more depth to it, a little more decision making to it. Here comes my son. So I'm going to work. But anyway, I'm trying to make a little more in-depth game that not necessarily has player cards, but a simple game taking that simple dice game. I believe it's from Louisville Bats or something. Norton Healthcare sponsors it. Found it online. It's very simple, based on 3 dice. You roll 1 for strike or a ball, and if it's a strike, you go to the hitter's two sixes, and there's a list of outcomes for the dice rolls from low to high. So there will be no 53, for example. It would be 35. So I'm trying to adapt that game to a couple other dice games to add a little more depth. No playing cards, just a simple, you take some charts and you add, let's say it says ground ball. Well, you go to a chart and it gives you an outcome of where the ball was hit. Could there be an error? Fly ball, is there a home run check if it's hit deep? Stolen base type thing that's very simple, based on D9 roll, D9 dice roll and stuff like that. So it adds a little bit of more what I call spice to the game. So it's not just as generic as a very simple game was. Just for my liking, I probably wouldn't go anywhere with it. My grandsons aren't old enough to play it, but it adds a little more spice and depth to the game. So when I roll the strike, I hit the ball, go to the batting matrix, and then go from there. If it says ground out, I go to the chart. I roll a d20 and see what the result is, or a fly ball, or a pop out, or a line out, or an error, or something like that. Range checks and stuff. So, I'm trying to combine, a little more depth into it, and give it a little more spice. And it's simple. I want something that, let's say I would go somewhere, or want something to just sit at the dining room table and play and only have a chart or two. But I don't want to have player cards, and I don't want to have to sit there and go through lineups like that and, put down ratings and all that stuff. Just something simple, like I played as a kid. You develop a lineup, you have a simple dice game, a few rules to it, and add a little bit of depth to it. And, you let the dice speak for itself. There's no lefty righties. There's no anything. You just play the game. If your pitcher gets in trouble, you pull him and put somebody else in, and you're not basing that on any statistic. You're just saying, oh, I want to put him in there and see what happens. So it's very simple, but it has a little more depth to the game that I was showing and playing with my grandson, who I understand. You play it, you roll the dice, and you say ground out, and that's it. But, if you want to have a story to it, or a little more depth to it, you add some charts to it that are, fit that type of scenario. So I've taken a couple games that I have, used some of the charts that are there, and made it a little more interesting to play for myself. And I have a board game companion that I can use. So I just input it in. It keeps the statistics. Whereas when I was a teenager and played a game like that, it was all pen and pencil, or pencil and paper, and I had to do it all myself, which was fine. I mean, I enjoyed statistics and stuff like that, but it's a lot of work to do that when you can use technology to do it now. So I'm interested to see. I've tested it out a couple times, played some games with it. It works pretty decently for a simple game that you want to pass time with. So I may continue down that road and adjust it a little bit more. I don't want to make it too hard or too complicated. Use a D20, a D9, and 3 D6s, and that's about all you need. So, and it just adds a little more to it. But you're not really, you're playing the game, playing baseball, but you're relying on the dice to tell you the story instead of individual player cards or team cards or anything like that. I'm using Major League players, but their statistics aren't in part of it. So it's just a generic type game using the MLB. I can make it just fictional players on there and, whatever. Tell the same thing, but I'm not a fictional player or player type of person, so I just use the Major League teams. But anyway, so I've been trying that out. It's been kind of fun testing that. And like I said, one of these days I'm going to break out one of the dice football games that I have, more in-depth games, and sit down and try and relearn that. I do have fast drive football, and I play college football teams with that, and that's by Al Wilson. That's a good game, very quick. Still playing the James Franklin 2014 team and season. Use the AI to create the missing teams based on how the instructions are to create teams, and it comes out pretty good for my purposes. It's my game and it's my table, and I can make up the rules as I want. So I'm not going out and selling anything or forcing anybody to do anything. I'm playing it myself in my own man cave and create my own little world. So That's just the way it is. I've done it to other games too. So, but anyway, let's see, anything else on the horizon? Made smash burgers last evening. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love those things. They don't take very long to make. And that's what's nice about them. I mean, I enjoy a nice thick hamburger every once in a while, but the smash burgers are pretty nice and quick. And I like using my griddle to do that. And what today, I have to find time to work out at some point this afternoon. So that'll be on the agenda. So between now and then, I do have to fix that issue in the garage. And then I'll go from there. Nobody is at home today, so I have the house to myself, which is nice. I enjoy that. So I'll get the day going and